I'm ready to be devastated when you guys take some of the ones that I want.
The cast is fantastic. Cinematography is great, but most importantly, the story is phenomenal. And that is...
Wow. I know you guys do a lot of like comic stuff and all that, and you already cover those things, so I was trying to think of something that maybe you didn't already do.
He was like, these damn nerds. They probably haven't even seen any sports movies.
Yeah, it's a crazy real life story. If you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out.
Rewatch it. I had this on my list as kind of like an honorable mention, but I do want to include it on my team.
Dang, so this pick sucks.
No.
It wasn't even going to be on your team.
This is actually great. This is a good pick.
Personally, I will dish your movie
fine.
and say that I thought it was boring.
Welcome to Backseat Directing,
Where we talk about movies, TV shows, comics, and more.
we're your hosts,
Andrew,
and Aaron, with Dave.
we put out new episodes every Monday and Thursday.
And on this episode, we're doing a sports movie draft.
3, 2, 1, action.
Today, standing at a whopping 6'7". He is a weightlifter at the gym that I go to. He's a kick-ass photographer, and he's graced us with his presence today on our episode of Sports Movies Draft. We have Dave.
What's going on?
I'm glad that you specified that, how tall he is, just so people don't think I'm abnormally small sitting next to him.
You're a couple inches off, but it's fine.
He's not 6'7", but he's pretty tall. But he definitely has you out-angled on the screen because he's closer to the camera.
Stand up more.
So, like, the way the perspective is, Dave, you look giant. You're stacked.
Awesome. We'll take it.
So what's up? Thanks for coming on the episode, man.
Yeah, man. I'm glad to be here. Dave Pullis, like Aaron said, and here to talk about some sports movies.
Heck
Hopefully I do a good job and get the best team. That's what we're aiming for. And just going to have a good time.
So I think you initially suggested the sports movie topic. Is there a reason that you were thinking of that? Do you really prefer, do you like sports movies a lot? Or
I want to say that's probably what I'm just like drawn towards. I know you guys do a lot of like comic stuff and all that, and you already cover those things. So I was trying to think of something that maybe you didn't already do.
He was like, these damn nerds. They probably haven't even seen any sports movies.
Nah, yeah, you'd be all right.
No, real life? No way.
No, it was just kind of weird just talking about topics in the gym, and that's kind of just one that came up, and we went with it. So
Yeah, I was really excited for it when I heard you guys mention it. There's so many sports movies that I love and hold near and dear to my heart. So I'm ready to be devastated when you guys take some of the ones that I want. I'm hoping too for you to take some of the ones that I want because there's just too many good ones.
It's hard to pick.
Yeah, if you take some of the ones that are easier.
yeah, I feel like we answered that in the group chat, and you had your top choices like within the first 5 minutes.
I immediately text back. I was like,
Oh, he's good to go. All right.
They just came flooding after I started typing them. I was like, man, this one's good. This one's good. This one's good.
Yeah.
But I got to play it close to the chest so that you guys don't know what to expect.
And I shouldn't open my phone in front of you.
Yeah, don't let him see you.
Yeah, I'm trying to angle mine this way too. So to kind of prepare the audience.
He's like the Patriots. He's got a camera over there in the corner looking at your notes.
Yep.
I took Aaron's glasses, so I have a second pair of cheetahs.
Yeah.
I can't possibly lose.
All right, 6 eyes.
So, go Joe. That's a reference you probably don't get. But to explain to the audience what we're going to do today, we said we're doing a sports movie draft. If you've seen any of our drafts before, you know this, but I'll just go over it really quickly. When we do our drafts on the show, when we have 3 people, we do a snake draft. So Aaron's going to use a randomizer to decide the order. And if, say, the order goes just like this around the table, Aaron, me, Dave, then it's going to go first Aaron, then me, then Dave, and Dave will go again, back to me, back to Aaron, and so on with that person at the end getting double picks. And we're each going to pick a sports movie per turn and try to build a team of the 5 best sports movies we possibly can build. At the end, we'll each have 5 in the audience. You will vote based on your personal reasonings why you think we have the best team. You can vote in the comments. You can vote wherever you like. We're going to put a poll on our Spotify, or you can vote in the YouTube comments, TikTok comments, wherever you see this. You can vote on multiple platforms. It'll give that team additional votes. If you feel strongly enough, you can really help out that team by placing multiple votes. And it'll make me feel better if you give me votes across every platform. But you can use whatever reasoning you like. We're going to try to explain our reasoning throughout why we think our movies are great. It'll be up to you guys to take that information from there. Should be a lot of fun.
There it is. It's been a little while since we've done a draft.
I've been
I'm
listening,
glad
dude.
we were able to come up with a draft topic for this episode.
Yeah, we'll have fun. It'll be good.
Theoretically, there's endless draft concepts. I just love doing
absolutely.
the drafts. I have a good time. We get to talk about a lot of movies.
That's the best part of the draft, right? We could talk about 15 plus movies or characters or whatever it is we're drafting. Dave, I have a question for you.
Yo, shoot.
What order would you prefer to be in? So in drafting order, what spot would you want to be in? Because
feel
you don't
good.
get to pick, but what would you want
I
if
feel
you could?
good wherever, to be honest.
Oh my
on,
God,
you
the
can't-
confidence is
you can't
insane.
I don't
Give me that.
He said it can whoop
Listen,
your ass at
no.
any placement in the
Put
draft.
this man in second.
It's only three people.
The second
though.
pick.
It's the worst spot if
Listen,
you ask us.
we all have done fantasy football. We know, that's more than way more than three people, right?
Yeah.
And there is a perfect spot in that.
Yeah.
And
So where do you feel like the perfect spot is for this? For 3?
I'll take third.
Third?
Yeah.
That's probably the
Third's
best.
pretty good.
That's probably what I would want
Yeah.
for this one. What would you
Probably
want?
good. I kind of want
Back to
third
back.
right now because this is one of those. I always say in a draft where I feel really strongly about my first pick, I want first.
Yeah.
I feel really strongly about my first pick in this draft.
And so you don't want to go first?
So I do want to
Oh,
go
you do
first.
wanna
That
go
way I
first.
can
Okay.
take that
You
off
see,
the
I
table.
feel
Yeah.
I don't have a top
Clear number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like third's probably the best.
I feel like there's so many options that would be good to kind of see the direction everyone else is going.
I just do so much like talking about movies that I've had my favorite specific sports movie for many years, probably a decade.
Yeah.
So I'm very attached to that as my
I feel like that's where you
sports
guys
movie.
got me on this too. You guys have way more knowledge than I do in this.
It's not necessarily true.
On the movie side of things, but
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. All right. Ready for this?
Let's do it.
Let's get that
And
rolling.
here we go. Here's the order. Going in the first pick of the draft, we have Dave.
I'm so
disappointed.
I already know I'm second. I already know it.
And because I'm an honest man, I'm in second.
Yeah.
And Andrew's in third.
You're lucky it's not a coin toss because you would lose every coin toss. I'd be where I wanted to
Every
be.
time we do a draft, it's just him and I. We do a coin, and he always wins the coin flip.
wins.
I don't. He's cheating somehow. I don't know how. I'm the one flipping the coin, but it still goes his way every time.
Call me the Deflatriots.
Okay.
Okay.
The pressure's
I'm going
on.
second here. So Dave, you get any movie that you want.
Pressure is on.
I think
right.
the likelihood of you guys taking my number one isn't that high, but I'll be very upset if that happens.
I think I'm going to go with something that's probably. Can I start? Can I dive
Absolutely,
into it,
man.
get
The
into
floor is yours. You'll take your pick, and then we'll talk about your movie.
I've leaned towards a few options here.
Because
I thought about taking number one, and I think my first choice is going to be Miracle.
Ooh.
It's a solid choice, I think.
Hockey movie, right?
Hockey movie,
Yeah.
1980 USA Olympic team, or was it Olympics? Whatever. it
I
was.
believe so. I haven't seen the movie, to be full transparent.
And I don't know. I just like it all around the movie, with like how Herb Brooks basically picked these players that were, no-name guys and built a team with them and made them believe that they could win it all. And I mean, they were going up against the Russians, which at the time were
That's
like,
what makes every
yeah.
good sports
I
movie.
mean,
So if you're
any
going
sports-
up against,
any sports movie. If you're against the Russians, it's a
Yeah.
good sports movie.
yeah, absolutely.
No, but and I just think overall it's a great movie, and like the quotes from it that come out of it are fantastic, and the speech at the end that he gives the team, insane. I can't recite it, but it's
That's also a trademark of a good sports movie.
Yeah,
You
for
need
sure.
a good monologue in there.
It's a classic American tale based on real life. I mean, that carries a lot
Oh,
of weight
yeah.
to it. I mean, I think that we kind of rally around those true stories in a little bit of a different way because, they say what art imitates life, and this is art literally being made from life. So it's a really cool story. It's on my watch list. I have to see it. I know the real life story. I just haven't seen the movie.
I mean, the story itself is incredible. I mean, you take a team of these guys that were, basically like lower tier guys that weren't supposed to even be competing with these teams, and they were somehow in it. And I'm not going to ruin the movie, but yeah.
You got a lot of like key parts to a great sports film in this movie.
yeah.
You got the underdog story,
For sure.
a great coach, you know, the competitors all coming together as a team to overcome, you know, like I play sports and stuff, but the sport that I compete in, you know, is weightlifting, and that's an individual sport.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a little bit different. So it's really cool to see like the dynamics of a team, you know, having to come together, and everyone has to be doing their job.
You got to rely on other people
Yeah.
too. It's crazy.
And it's really cool when the story like gets that part.
It's cool to see a movie that focuses on hockey too, because there are a decent amount, but I feel like in sports movies, hockey is one of the gets less love than certain other sports movies. Or I'm sorry, than certain other sports. Like there's a lot of football movies, you know, a lot of basketball movies, and I feel like hockey's like somewhere falling back there in like
Even in
fourth place.
even in like real life. I mean, hockey's not necessarily like the sport that people would.
Yeah, it's
would
probably like
turn
the
towards, you know what
fourth
I mean?
like
Yeah.
most popular, I'd say.
Exactly,
You know, you
yeah.
got football, baseball, basketball.
Soccer's the most popular worldwide.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I'd say hockey's more popular here than soccer.
Here in Canada. Wait, you say hockey's more popular here than soccer?
Yeah.
I'm not so sure.
I don't know.
No? You don't think so?
Soccer's pretty big. It's just where it depends on where you are.
Interesting. Because I hear a lot of people talking about like, oh, hockey's on tonight. I don't hear that many people talking about like, oh, like, are you watching the soccer game? Like, you know what I mean?
It was huge news though when Messi came to the Florida team.
That is true. I
mean,
when he went to Miami, yeah, that was pretty big. But he's like a little different.
He's the guy.
yeah. He's him. All right.
Let's get on to your pick.
Oh, I was gonna
Trying to
say
give
it's
it to me?
It's not. It is my pick. Okay. I feel like my pick is kind of predictable in a sense. If you know who I am, you know, and I feel like Andrew knows kind of the direction that I'd be going.
I know what it is.
But this movie is so good. It's got all those like classic elements to a sports movie that Miracle has. And the cast is fantastic. Cinematography is great, but most importantly, the story is phenomenal. And that is Coach Carter.
Wow. Wow. You know what's
man.
you know what's wild about that choice is so
We lost
our
it,
coach
Andrew.
Zach, we were talking about this earlier today. I was talking about sports movies and I was like, you know which ones that I think no one's even gonna think of? Coach Carter.
Like you told Zach about our.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
man.
you can tell him that was number one on
That's
the list.
that's insane.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's such a good movie.
It is good.
It's so good. You
is really
seem
good.
upset. Was this your first pick or up there? Talk to me here.
Well, it was my first pick.
Oh,
Wow.
man, you were so confident
Wow.
that I wouldn't pick it. You thought I was going to sleep on Coach Carter?
Well, my only option left now is to pick Creed 3 in the next round because
I totally knew that was going to be a possibility. But man, Coach Carter is like the sports movie, I think.
you think that you can just
Dude, Samuel L. Jackson, Channing Tatum.
Oh yeah.
Dude, they have problems on the field or on the court and off the court. It's like the ultimate coach's like movie. And I love that. I love that he's the one, you know, that kind of turned the future for all these boys. And I like that it was bigger than just sports. You know, like he cared about them as a person, as a young man growing up. You know, like he didn't take any crap, you know, like this school was not a good school for their sports or even their academics. And he made sure that this was all like important to all of the boys and the character development for everyone on the team and the coach and him locking the door to the court you know, like, oh, it's so good. I get goosebumps just thinking about it.
He teaches the kids to respect themselves and he teaches them to value like things more important than the game, even though the game is important. I mean, he teaches them a lot on the court, but it's also about when like you said, when he locks the doors, the kids back him up and they support his decision to focus on their education first and to give themselves opportunities outside of just basketball, because look at the likelihood of making a career off of basketball. I mean, it's okay to have dreams, but he's also teaching them to have other talents. Because regardless of what happens in their future basketball career, they still need these life skills. They still need an education. They still need to have a good head on their shoulders. And that's one of the most important things he teaches them, is being humble, is, when he comes back, it's so funny. When he's like, I tied that knot. Look at that. Woo! I did that.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson's so good in this movie.
To the baseline, gentlemen.
And what I like about that movie too is the ending is not like your
typical ending.
Your typical storybook ending, right?
Yeah.
Where
they spoil in the movie.
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't sure if we could spoil.
No, that's fine. You should expect it. They lose the game at the end of the
end.
I mean, we're gonna spoil a bunch of movies. And
they played their rival team, right, or whatever it was.
They played the team with that kid who was like the big up and coming star.
Yeah, the star. Yeah.
And they ultimately lost. I think it was potentially the school that
Where
Carter's son was going. He transferred because he wanted to be coached by his dad.
like a high five. He wanted a high five.
I love everything about this movie. I love how he names the game strategies, the plays based off of his ex-girlfriends and his sister and the women in his life. So much fun. I love the big climactic scenes in this movie. Oh, Captain, My Captain is iconic all-time sports scene where it's reminiscent of the scene from the Oh, Captain, My Captain scene from Dead Poet Society, but where the kid steps up on the table and he's like, our greatest fear is that we won't be good enough. And it's that super emotional scene, but also the scene where he meets Cruz and Cruz is like mouthing off to Samuel L. Jackson. And he says, teacher's not supposed to touch students. I'm the new basketball coach. He's such a larger than life character as a coach, as a father. He sets a great example. He lives by his own words. He doesn't ask his players to do anything that he wouldn't do himself. He's a great example of a leader, of a coach, and of a man. And it's just an all-time character with great supporting cast, like you mentioned, with Channing Tatum. I wish I was talking about this movie as being on my team, but unfortunately I'm not.
Still a bold number one, though.
To me,
it's a slam dunk. Number one.
To me, it's
literally a slam dunk.
In my eyes, it's like an obvious number one. It's so good.
It's so good, man. It's so good.
I like that. I'm glad you guys did choose that number one because it was on my list, and I don't think anyone's gonna.
It's really,
I had to make sure that when we were talking at the gym the other day that I didn't bring it up at all.
He downplayed
even though I really wanted to, because it's one of my favorite sports movies.
Yeah,
one of.
It's up there.
Yeah, one of, huh?
Yeah, it's probably my favorite.
All right,
Andrew, that brings us to you. You get 2 picks here, man. Back to back. Where are you going?
Well, if I'm no longer allowed to go the personal route, I have to go the route to win. So for my number 1 pick, I'm going to go with Rocky.
Nice.
solid choice.
Classic.
I think as far as sports movies go, if you're looking at the all-time greats, Rocky Balboa's face is on the Mount Rushmore of sports movies. I mean, what Stallone did with this movie, from writing it to starring in it, and then to going on to have such a successful franchise. I mean, I'm not familiar with Coach Carter 2. I'm not familiar with there being a Miracle 2. Rocky spawned a franchise that would go on for 9 movies now at this point, counting the Creed movies. So also, if I have now picked Rocky and Arron goes on to pick Creed 3, he is kind of following me and picking up my leftovers. So I do want to say that at the very beginning. This movie spawned the franchise. I love so many different Rocky movies. Personally, I think I'm in the minority in loving Rocky Balboa, which is the 6th movie. But I love 2, 3, 4. This movie, though, one holds a special place. That's what I'm trying to get to. One holds a special place in my heart. Ever since I was a little kid, I have loved this movie. And when I was a kid, I got 2 turtles, and I named them Cuff and Link after the turtles in the Rocky film. And this movie, what is so great about it, like so many sports movies that would come to follow, is that it is an underdog story about, and it's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how many hits you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. And that is what my boy, the Italian Stallion, does in this movie. He sets an example for underdogs everywhere. He gives hope to people who, you know, get knocked down time and time again. And Rocky, like they say in the franchise later on, his key in winning is his ability to get up off the canvas when he is dead. When he is on the ground, beaten, he gets up unconscious and keeps fighting. He keeps moving forward. And I think that's an example that, like Arron said about Coach Carter, goes on outside of the sport itself. You know, that's an example for life, is to just not give up, keep moving forward. I love him. I love the classics. I love Eye of the Tiger. I love him running down the streets of Philly. I love him hitting the butcher. What are they called? The big pigs, the long pigs hanging in the butcher steak. So him drinking the raw eggs. He was so cool in that movie. He was also completely jacked, and he would only go on to get more jacked throughout the franchise. But that's my first movie, so I should really move on.
Yeah,
But also, name another movie that a city has a statue of.
I've been to that. I've been to that statue.
Right? That's crazy.
that is pretty cool.
Me and Zach both have actually been to that separately, but me and Sierra went when we were in Philly, and it's a cool movie too, because like you said, the statue is an example of how much the movie Rocky is kind of embedded in the culture of Philly, because it's that, I'm not saying like Rocky put Philly on the map, because it didn't. It's a very historic city, but it's so closely tied to the culture of the city itself. It's cool to have that dynamic and relationship where the setting bolsters the movie and the movie bolsters the city itself.
Yeah, I mean, you probably just got the vote of pretty much everyone over, what, 45?
No, let me get the vote of everyone in Philly. Come on, where the Philly people at? Where the Philly people at?
For your second pick, Andrew.
Okay, for my second pick, I'm gonna.
Round 2.
I think for my second pick, I'm going to go the more personal route. I'm going to kind of balance my scales, because I could try and really go and get the heavy hitters, but I'm worried that this won't be there at the end. I'm worried that Arron gets 2 picks and he's taking this next. I know he likes this movie. So for my second pick, I'm going to take Warrior. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, you don't even know the title.
In my head, you know what?
Get Warriors.
You know why I said Warriors is my head. I was thinking Warriors come out.
Yeah.
But I'm picking Warrior, the action movie, which I had to suppress my love for the great director Gavin O'Connor after you said Miracle, because Gavin O'Connor actually directed Miracle, Warrior, and another movie that I freaking love, which is The Accountant from 2016.
Yeah.
He makes such good movies, and he's a very underappreciated director. But Warrior is probably my personal favorite, even over The Accountant. Warrior is just a really good story that mixes an emotional story about 2 brothers with an underdog story about 2 fighters that are coming in as like the undercard in this huge UFC match. It has Tom Hardy kind of at his height, at his peak, in my opinion. He is looking huge in this movie with insane traps. And then Joel Edgerton's amazing in this movie. I think Nick Nolte is the father. All 3 of them bring it on the acting front at an amazing level. This movie is emotional, make you cry, but it also has you jumping out of your seat in scenes like seeing Tom Hardy take on, I think the character's name is Tank, seeing him just absolutely destroy this guy in their little sparring match.
That's in the gym, right?
Yeah,
When he's like, I'll fight him.
Did you sign your
Like,
waiver?
no, we don't need anyone getting hurt. It's like, no, I'll just keep him warm. You know, I'll just throw a few punches with him and then bang.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Becomes a YouTube sensation and goes.
Run through the wall.
I mean, I think the villain in this, I'm thinking his name's Koba, but I think
From Planet of the Apes?
No, but there's a really big guy who's like Russian or something that Joel Edgerton should not be in the ring with by any, weight standard. But he wins even still.
It's crazy how much weight they lose and gain from weigh-ins to their fight. Like,
But do you remember how big this guy is?
I think I know who you're talking
He
about.
couldn't possibly, because he's like, the guy is like 7 feet tall. He's huge.
Yeah, because I mean, I'd say like it could vary. What, like maybe 30 pounds from weigh-ins to getting into the octagon. Like
Maybe, yeah.
like there's some big swings.
Yeah.
You know, because like in fighting you have like the full day. You have like 24 hours to rehydrate and refuel, and you can put on.
Yeah, like if you're cutting to
His name is
155, you're not fighting at 155.
No way.
There's no way.
Yeah. It's different than weightlifting because we have 2 hours
Right.
to get ready after weigh-in. So that we can't lose nearly as much and gain it all back. You kind of have to be comfortable at the weight that you're weighing in at.
Yep.
So it's a little different in that way. But yeah, he's a big guy, Warrior.
He weighs 220, the guy who plays Koba. He's pretty big.
Yeah, and then The other guy's probably
Joel Edgerton's probably like 180,
190. Yeah,
Smaller, yeah.
But this movie, what I love about it is the emotional story when the brothers are confronting each other on the beach. I mean, Joel Edgerton's fighting to save his house, to save his family, to have a home for his wife and his daughter.
They're dynamic with their father too.
Super emotional. I mean, he goes back to drinking after like a decade of sobriety because Tommy, Tom Hardy's character, like wants nothing to do with him, and he's,
but wants him to be his coach.
Yeah.
So there's this complicated dynamic.
I think that the fights are really well filmed. The action in the movie is great, and it leaves with a sense of optimism. With even despite all the negatives that come with Tommy's journey at the end, I really love watching this movie. This is my personal pick for me.
Okay, I dig it.
Solid.
So that brings it back to me. Dave is just chilling over there right now.
I'm thinking the wheels are turning.
Getting these picks taken off the board. This next pick, I think I already have my mind made up, which is it's new for me on our drafts, but it's on my list here, and it's a great movie. It's a newer movie actually, and it's kind of similar to Andrew's. Got to do with fighting, I can't let Andrew get all of the fighting movies. He's got Rocky and Warrior already. I'm going to pick one that's extremely emotional. It's got a great story. The actors are phenomenal, based on true story, just like Coach Carter. And that is The Iron Claw.
Oh,
Great movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good choice.
I had that one on my radar as well. Have you seen Iron Claw?
I've seen part of it.
It's part of it. What do you think of what you
Part
saw?
of it?
I think I fell asleep during it, to be honest.
Oh, no. Jeez.
From what I saw, it was good. Yeah, I mean,
Well, you need to watch it all.
I'll have
because-
to watch it.
And you gotta let me know what you think of the ending, because if you make it out of there without just bawling your eyes out,
Well, I already know what happens at the end. Like,
Yeah.
I know the story.
Yeah.
but I mean, the emotion still gets you, man. I did go into the film not knowing the story, so like,
Me too.
it did like hit even probably harder than it will for you if you know what happens with the family. But yeah, the performance, the direction. Zac Efron should have won an Oscar for this.
Sean Durkin did an amazing job too.
Yeah.
Though, as the directing and writing.
Yeah, cinematography was fantastic. I loved the contrast between like the everyday life and then when they're in the ring. It's really warm and very like hazy and dude, Zac Efron's gigantic in this movie. It's insane.
Yeah, they did a good job of highlighting the ring and having the background kind of fade into obscurity, so it feels like the ring is everything.
Yeah.
like it was to these boys growing up. You know what I mean? And performances across the board. Jeremy Allen White was amazing. Harris Dickinson was amazing. Lily Collins, she's in the movie as well, I believe. She plays Zac Efron's wife, and she's amazing. And her and the mother doing a great. What's his name? Holt McCallany,
Dude.
the dad. Stellar performance.
Yeah. Every time he was on screen, I felt his presence like real firm of like, kind of like the old school dad where it's like, yes, sir, like I'll do everything to please you kind of thing. Like he had that like strength on screen for every scene he was
Not to
in.
mention Zac Efron's huge in it.
Dude, insane. Insane. One of the most insane movie physiques to date.
Jeremy
Allen White.
His arms are huge.
He's big too. Yeah. And then the other brother, he's really tall and muscular. So he really pulls off the WWE, bigger than life.
Yeah.
He was really good on the mic too.
Yeah, I think that they did such a phenomenal job with the physical appearance and the transformation for this movie. It really shows the dedication to the role, but also doing some of their own stunts. I mean, the flips. The movie looks great. It's shot super well, and the stunts are awesome. It's just a great emotional story, and I feel uplifted at the end of this movie as well, even with everything that's happened.
Yeah, it's a crazy real life story. If you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out.
Rewatch it.
Yeah, you need to watch it.
Recency bias on Aaron's team here. This movie came out like December of last year.
Yeah, but it's still really good. It's very good.
Doesn't have as much staying power as like Miracle or Rocky do, but at least we haven't had the chance to see it yet. So
I mean, okay, yeah. I don't want to say anything bad about Rocky. You know how I feel
Yeah,
about Rocky.
go
You know
ahead.
how I
Go
feel
ahead.
about Rocky. All right, Dave, going to you. We have you get 2 picks here,
Oh, I do.
back
okay.
to back.
All right. So I'm going to go with one that's a little bit more personal to me.
There we go.
Just because it takes me back to like when I
means
was
something,
a little bit
baby.
younger and we actually watched this class. I think I was in high school, and we watched this as like part of, I forget what class it was, but true underdog story, I think. And I'm going with Cinderella Man.
Boxing movie.
I don't know if you guys have ever seen it.
I haven't seen it, but Russell Crowe,
Russell
right?
Crowe's in it.
It's on my watch list as well.
During like Great Depression era.
Cinderella Man.
He's like a Labor Day work or whatever, and trying to find work, things like that, and then takes to boxing because he can fight and to earn money for his family, and takes care of his family that way, even though they don't want him to do that because he's
They don't want him to get hurt.
yeah, he's getting beat up and all that kind of thing. And
I love sports movies that focus around family. Like
yeah.
Cinderella Man, Iron Claw's great. Rocky's also about the romance and the relationship with him and Adrian. I feel like, because that's stuff we can all relate to. Like, we can't all relate to being the number one boxer in the world, but we can all relate to loving someone and caring about someone. And we can relate to their motives, which makes these crazy larger than life things that they're doing also relatable.
And for that movie, again, it's he shouldn't really be where he is in the sense of fighting. You know, the people he's fighting against are world champions, and he's not.
Yeah, comes from a different background.
And yeah, it's really good. So,
I feel like
Cinderella
Andrew
Man.
and I are letting down your team here because I also haven't seen Cinderella Man.
That's all right. The audience may have seen it. Hopefully they have.
May have.
It's a good one. It's
You've
a really good
got
one.
2 back-to-back picks, so the next one will be one we know.
Cinderella Man's rated pretty high on IMDb. It's got a
So
Fighting and boxing movies are going to be they make top tier movies, so
Yeah.
they're going to be heavy favorites for some of this.
So I've gone with 2, I guess you can say, like, more serious movies.
yeah.
So we're gonna go with a fun one here. No. Well, there's a couple fun ones out there.
Yeah,
I was gonna go. I was gonna go with a basketball one, but I'm not gonna.
Okay.
what are you taking?
I'm taking the Mighty Ducks.
Okay.
Oh,
D2.
nice. Yeah.
D2 though, the second one.
Oh, the second one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Talk
about
the
it.
Gangs,
Talk about
the
it.
gang's back, right? They're they got the
Ducks
same
2.
coach, right?
Yep.
Gordon Bombay's back.
Yep.
And they're now training for the Junior Olympics, I think it was.
Yeah. I think you're right.
And they get all these players that are kind of like just a random bunch of people. You know, you got the dude that's the cowboy. You got the Italian. I think he's Italian dude who doesn't know how to stop. You got like the figure skater. You got the I think there's a little Asian kid, right? You got, like, obviously Goldberg's a goalie. You got another girl who's a goalie. So you got a guy and a girl goalie. And I guess kind of similar to Miracle, where you bring like this, you know, ragtime type group of people together, and they
Figure
carry
it out. Yeah.
Then there's like the scene where they play like roller hockey and they do all that kind of thing, and they I think his name was Russ in the movie. They pick him up, and he's like got the craziest slap shot ever.
Yes.
You got the Bass Bros that are in there.
Yep.
I mean, it's just a classic, I think.
Yeah.
It's a childhood movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Quack. Quack.
Yeah, exactly.
Quack. Quack.
Yeah.
Quack. Quack.
Oh,
Quack.
and not to mention the best jerseys, I think, of all time in hockey come out of that. When
I
they
gotta look it up again.
Those movies are
got to look up the ones they wear the Ducks jerseys. They come out after after one of the periods. I was gonna say halftime, but they come out of, I think, the first period maybe, and they wear these awesome jerseys.
The green and yellow ones.
They're green and purple.
Those movies are
Green,
also
purple, white.
so awesome and nostalgic for when you were a kid, because you'd be watching those movies like they're like your age, the stars, you know, the
Right.
people that are doing the great slap shot. And
Right.
It's like that could be me. Like,
Yeah, that's what
I'm
it feels
12.
like. We just watched Mighty Ducks, the first one and the second one, when we were at AO Finals, the weightlifting meet. Zach put it on, our coach, and that's what we watched like right before we went out to
Solid
compete.
choice, yeah.
Yeah, so we had quack, quack, quack in our head as we're going out there to lift our weights.
Solid choice.
Yeah, very good.
So now I got 2 hockey movies on my team.
Boom.
I've got 2 fighting movies. It's been so long since I've had a turn.
Yeah,
ages.
that is the nice part about going second. Is that you do feel like you're in the conversation more often. but you don't get the back-to-back picks, which sometimes, is tough in a sense.
A lot of stress on me. The second one, I was kind of rushed into it, I think, but I made a good choice.
Kind of rushed into it. I hear that.
Is that the first sequel to have been picked so far? Mighty Ducks 2? I don't think any of the rest of our picks have been sequels.
Yep. And where do I go from here? Now it's getting a little tough.
Yeah, well, Aaron's still thinking. I'll talk a little bit more about Rocky. One of the most iconic villains of all time. We got Apollo Creed as the villain.
Calm down.
Recently passed. Rest in peace. Incredible actor.
I think I am going to go the personal route here and pick one of my favorite movies. Again, it's a little more recent. Andrew says this is sloppy seconds, but I don't think so. I don't think so.
I knew it.
I don't think so.
All right.
And that's Creed 3.
Okay.
I love this movie so much. I mean, anyone who's listened to this show knows that I talk about this movie every time I can.
He's a big Jonathan Majors fan.
Mm. As an actor. His work is phenomenal. Okay. And his personal life is his personal life. Okay.
Got him.
But the movie itself, the direction from Michael B. Jordan was phenomenal. It's his first movie that he directed, and he knocked it out of the park, in my opinion. I think the style of this movie stands apart from not only the first two Creed movies, but also the rest of the Rocky movies. He took a lot of anime inspiration when it comes to the fights. I loved at the end fight how they transported away into this empty arena where the cage is locking them into the ring. And
it's a good use of magic realism.
Yeah. And it really draws you into being really close with these two characters, these two, I guess in the way, former friends who are now kind of pinned against each other because one feels like he was wronged, and didn't get the opportunities that he felt like he deserved. He also
got the opportunity to get absolutely shredded.
Yeah.
Were they friends or were they related?
They were friends.
So they were friends when they were young, and Creed ended up getting in trouble, and they were at this gas station thing. Some stuff went down. He started beating up one of his foster fathers or something like that, foster parents or whatever. He beat him up. And then the cops came and he ran, and Jonathan Majors was there and got caught. So he went to jail, and then Creed grew up, rich and had his father's name and all that stuff.
I guess he was already growing up rich because his father kind of claimed him, right? It's a very, emotional and interesting design they have for the concept of the story.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Rocky's got a little bit more weight because it's got 50 years behind it, but
Rocky's definitely more iconic for sure. And I mean, there's
no
Creed without Rocky.
I didn't hear what you.
But I think,
what was it?
Personally, Creed 3 is a better movie than Rocky.
Wow. I mean, that's crazy.
I think it's paced much better. I think the cinematography is a lot better and the style is better. I think the dialogue is also better. I think the acting performances are better and not nearly as kind of cheesy. Rocky has
an amazing script. First of all,
they're also years apart.
Yeah, decades. I think
decades apart.
I do think the music is a strong point. I think for Creed 3, I think Rocky obviously has the iconic music. The horns, kind of orchestral sounds, but the Dreamville soundtrack for Creed is fantastic. I mean, the J. Cole songs, and then the references in the songs, again, like you said, more anime references, more pop culture references, keeping the story modern and relevant. The music just sounds really good.
Wakanda.
Yeah. It was really fantastic. The music is amazing. It's a good movie. I do enjoy Creed 3. It's definitely my favorite of the Creed trilogy.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite of the Rocky franchise, personally.
And that's totally fair. You can have your own opinions.
Yeah.
Speaking of, it's now your turn again.
Oh my God. It's been so long. I don't even know what movies I want anymore. I think I've got a good one in the chamber, though. I'm a little bit nervous because you guys have taken so few of the ones on my actual list. But for my next pick, I'm going to go out in left field. I'm going to take something new, bring something new to the table. I'm going to pick something that's not only a comedy. We have had a comedy pick to say Mighty Ducks, good comedy, good comedy elements, but
it sucked.
But the first golf movie to be picked, I'm going to pick Happy Gilmore.
Sure are. Yeah.
Which in a way, I mean, it's also kind of like I'm getting a hockey movie because Happy wanted to be a hockey player in the first act of that movie.
So, that's right.
Happy Gilmore from Happy Madison production. You know, it's starring Adam Sandler at, again, I would say probably the peak of Adam Sandler. He's hilarious in this movie. Shooter McGavin is hilarious in this movie. We've got a young Claire from Modern Family as the love interest in this movie. This movie, the sports elements really hit for me, but also is one of the funniest movies of all time. I put it consistently in my top 5 comedies. The Bob Barker stuff is hilarious.
Yep.
And then Rob Schneider is hilarious in this movie as well with his little cameo.
Oh, yeah.
This movie is... I got to double check something here real quick because
it's also a movie I could watch over and over again.
Oh my God.
Never get tired of.
Insane rewatchability factor. I mean, Happy Madison comes from the production of Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison. I think this is the better of those two movies. I think Happy Gilmore is potentially the best Adam Sandler movie ever made. I don't know what I would put above it.
Dave looks like he's computing.
No, I was just thinking of the scene where he looks up to the sky and it's like the alligators up there with the grandma.
That's I think Chubbs is up there too,
Chubbs
right?
is up there, yeah.
Carl Weathers is in this movie again. I got Carl Weathers again. Just saying. You know, he's also, if you don't know, he is also in Rocky. He plays Apollo
Carl
Creed.
Weathers fan.
Yeah, Carl Weathers is the freaking man. Have you seen his biceps in Predator? They've been pushing too many pencils. But this movie, it hits the comedy element super hard. The exterior shots on the golf courses are just beautiful. There's lots of color, lots of greenery, and iconic driver shot from Happy Gilmore is so funny. I've seen it replicated so many times across social media, TikToks here and there. Just that running wind up, that driver shot. When he hits it all the way down the street and it's his first time ever golfing because he's used to hitting a slap shot. It's so funny when he's standing in the batting cage just letting the ball hit him. Just letting him
toughen up for next season.
This movie is freaking hilarious. It's so much fun, but I also really buy into the sports element of it. I get really excited to see him compete against Shooter McGavin. I want him to win, and he's
an underdog.
Yeah, again another underdog story. You see him coming up as he's at the very bottom of the runnings at the beginning, and you see Gilmore climbing, and it's so much fun to watch. Adam Sandler, so easy to root for. There's a good romance in the movie as well. It's an absolute winner, but I have to take another pick.
And he gets all the big checks too.
Oh yeah, those big huge checks. That's
he's like, where's my big check? So, okay, here you go.
What does he say to Shooter where he's like, I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast. You eat pieces of shit for breakfast?
He's like, what?
It's great movie. All right, so I've got a comedy. Let me round up my team with another. I'm going to try to pull another classic onto my team. I think Happy Gilmore is more of a modern classic, but I'm again talking about Rocky. I'm going to pull another more classic movie onto my team and to get a new sport into the mix because I don't think anybody's picked baseball yet, right?
I don't know.
No.
So for baseball, I'm going to go Sandlot.
Ooh.
So that's my fourth pick on my team, Sandlot. It's a movie I've watched a lot growing up. The Beast is iconic in this movie. The dog who plays the Beast, super iconic.
Benny the Jet Rodriguez.
This movie also has...
Is that his name? I think so.
Yeah, Benny the Jet Rodriguez. Yeah, he's the one with the... What are they called? The something flyers.
Yeah, flyers.
Those. Oh God, I thought those were so cool as a kid. I was like, if I had a pair of those shoes, I would run so fast.
You would, yeah. It's
it was it's so amazing. I mean, there's some stuff that doesn't age the best in it, like the lifeguard scene. But I mean, when I was growing up, I thought that was hilarious as a kid. As an adult, it's a little bit something a little bit off about it. But the whole concept of the movie is about this great summer, and it's a movie that's about coming of age just as much as it is about baseball. It's about these kids growing up and, them going into this new stage of life. They're going off on their own and making new friendships. And it's things that like we can all relate to growing up as kids, having that break off from school, making new friends, going out and playing sports.
Also kind of related to this week.
To this week?
Because there's a scene with fireworks.
Oh yeah, the 4th of July. There's
Like, where is he going with this one?
But they hit on
Baseball guy?
But no, that's a good point that I was trying to touch on. I kind of lost my train of thought before you said that too. Is that it touches on life elements too? Like the star of the movie is having a tough time with his stepdad and bonding and relating with him. The movie is also, these kids are going out to the carnival over the summer. They're trying to impress girls. And then a big part of the movie too is about them losing the ball. The Babe Ruth baseball at the end of the movie.
It had some lady's signature on it. Baby Ruth?
The Babe Ruth. The Sultan of SWAT.
Yeah, there's the one in the SWAT.
The Colossus of Clout. The movie is also about them problem solving and trying to get the ball back. They're building contraptions, and it's just a lot of fun. You know, it's just as much fun and friendship and family and relatable problems as it is about baseball. But you also get these iconic, hilarious lines when they're facing off against these other kids. You play ball like a girl. There's so many iconic lines in this movie. Or you want s'more? S'more what? No, I want s'more. S'more what? Like that. This movie has great iconic lines. It's loads and loads of fun. Like you said about Happy Gilmore, is you can just watch Sandlot over and over again, and it's a classic from, you know, I love watching it growing up too, so I'm super glad to have it on my team. Baseball is also America's pastime, fellas.
Is it though?
It is.
Is it though?
I got 2 hockey movies on my team. So.
Okay, Canada's pastime.
There hasn't been a single football pick, has there?
We're not there yet.
I'm not a big football movie person myself.
Yeah, I feel like they're not as like big as like
I feel like
fighting movies.
I feel like
and
football
other
movies though are
sports.
probably movies people would initially think of with a sports movie.
But I feel like there's lots of good ones, but not lots of great ones. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of good football movies. I don't want to rattle them off because I don't know if I want to pick them.
Okay, to me, for the 4th pick
Avengers
on my team,
X-Men to me.
I'm gonna pick a classic, kind of bring up the age of my team here, and that is gonna be The Karate Kid.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a good pick.
Yeah,
Good back-to-back with Sandlot right there.
it's got a lot of, you know, like you said, classic moments, iconic
Wait
moments.
a second. How are you going back-to-back with me?
What do you mean?
Are you at the 2 spot?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just totally lost track there.
Now I'm confused. You thought he was next?
I thought
No.
second.
Oh,
Nope.
okay.
That was first.
No, this is the right order.
Yeah,
You
we're
made
good.
me think that you had one more pick to go, but
No, I got my
you
2.
picked 2.
Yeah, I got 2.
Yeah, Karate Kid. Me and you are
Gilmore.
both at 4 right now. 4 on our team. But yeah, Karate Kid's got a lot of iconic moments. Wax on, wax off. What does he say with the fence? Doesn't he say? Does he say something with the fence? Because he's painting the fence, right? Wax on, wax off, up, down. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
something like
I don't remember that.
Painting the fence is a big part of the
Yeah.
training as
Yeah.
well.
And then it's iconic when he goes in and he's like, "What is all of this for? You're just making me do all these chores." And then all of a sudden he knows how to fight in a way, you know, because he's learning the basics. It's a really cool coaching moment as well.
I had to confirm something. Pat Morita, who plays Mr. Miyagi, was Oscar nominated. I was checking to see whether he won or not, but he was Oscar nominated for the role.
Yeah, he does a great job of Mr. Miyagi. He's like looking for the fly,
Rest in peace.
you know, catches the fly. That's so cool.
Personally, if I was going to pick Karate Kid, I'd pick the Jackie Chan, Jaden Smith Karate Kid.
I do like that one.
That one's way more classic, but I like that one better. The fighting
Yeah.
is cooler in it too, for sure.
Yeah.
Weren't we talking about this? You said there's more karate in that one.
Yeah, I think the newer Karate
newer
Kid
one,
is
yeah.
better. Like kind of like I say, like Creed 3. You know, I like more than Rocky, but I think this one's a classic.
Bro slamming his own team.
Interesting.
It's not slamming your own team.
I agree with you. It's more classic. It's more iconic, but the new Karate Kid is just really cool. It's newer. It's got more. They've just got more martial artists in there.
Yeah, they got more like dynamic karate moves. You know, it's just newer.
I love how Jackie Chan beats up all the kids without laying a hand on them.
Yeah, he kind of makes them beat themselves up.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool element. But yeah, Karate Kid. It's the 4th spot on my team.
Solid choice.
Got a great.
Thank you.
Got a great villain. I mean,
I feel like you're hating on it a little bit there.
Not at all.
Solid choice. I wouldn't have picked it, but whatever.
we take solid as an insult around here.
like,
I mean, it's okay.
mediocre,
It was fine.
trash. Absolute trash.
What's the guy's name who's the leader of Cobra Kai at that point? He's in the TV show. Something with a C, right? It's not. It's
Cobra Commander.
John Kreese with a K.
Yes.
John Kreese.
Nice.
Yep.
I just need a second some of these to think of, but I got names.
Yeah.
And then Johnny's really good.
Johnny Lawrence. Yep.
Goes on to star in this huge hit TV show as well that's now revitalized the Karate Kid universe. And we're going to get a new movie too with supposed to have Jackie Chan in it. And
Ralph Macchio.
Ralph Macchio as well, yeah.
I don't know, is he in it or just they're both involved?
I'm thinking they're both going to be in it. That's what I got from them doing that casting announcement.
Interesting. So the Karate Kids like worlds collide.
They're casting a new actual Karate Kid, so maybe they're both senseis to the Karate Kids somehow.
All right, Dave. Here we go. You're gonna finalize your team
I was
here.
gonna say before I choose this, how many are we doing? 5?
5. So you have 2 more picks right now, and then you're
makes
done.
my decisions tough.
What kind of taste are you going to leave in the audience?
I know. So
It can really break the team, by the way. I don't want to make you nervous, but I've definitely had it before.
no, we're good. We're good here. I'm gonna go with it's older, not too old, but 2000, I think, early 2000s.
Fact check them.
Young Ryan Gosling,
Oh.
the Denzel Washington.
Oh.
We're going to Remember the Titans.
Classic.
Classic movie all around. A time in the world where things weren't the best, right? Where you had, where black people, white people didn't get along, that kind of thing, and they built this team around like just coming together and ignoring all that outside hate and just ultimately coming together and loving each other and
It's been a very long time since
just kind of they formed friendships and obviously there was hatred still on the team and they had to kind of weed those people out, but
like the quarterback, he really has a good journey in that movie.
yeah,
They do a good job in that movie of showing how everything that kind of divides us, most of the things that divide us in a sense are kind of like smoke and mirrors, and how we really are kind of the same, and especially pointing us all towards, taking us as a group of people and pointing us towards a singular goal, right? Then that stuff kind of melts away. I mean, everybody on the team wants to win, and in the beginning, I think the quarterback's not giving passes to the new players that they're trying to add to the team, to the African-American players, and that's not, as Sylvester Stallone would say, that's not how winning's done. So
it is kind of cool. You could see like the transition of like, the quarterback's not passing to certain players, but then towards the end, there's one scene where I think it may have been Ryan Gosling's character, but his dad was like, keep him in the game. He's the best player or whatever. And then he like goes to the coach and he's like, take me out. He's like, put PD in. He's better than me. And like they just learned that like,
being the best is being the best. I mean,
exactly.
you got to let the other stuff go, and they do a really great job. I think that quarterback has such a cool journey to me because he goes from being, one of the most violently opposed to those players to like having their back really strongly later in the movie. And that is another example, like you said, of Coach Carter, of sports movies do a great job of pushing things off of the field, going to a greater moral message or something like that. And this is a really good example of that.
I think that's what sports is all about.
Oh, yeah.
Is like developing as a person, not just at your sport, but like becoming a better person in your everyday life.
Yeah. Sports ties so directly to life skills. I mean, especially something like a team sport, Everyone growing up can stand to learn team skills and play a sport because you have to work with other people and get along with other people in some sense or another to function in this world. Unless you're going to go live in a cabin in the woods in Montana and never interact with anybody. You need those interpersonal skills. You need those teamwork skills.
Yeah.
But, weightlifters, like Olympic weightlifters, they usually don't learn those skills because it's an individual sport. So they're just kind of, a little off.
Those meatheads.
Luckily, we played organized sports as a kid, so we got that still.
Yeah.
Unlike nerds who just read comic books over there, am I right?
Hey, I played soccer.
There you go.
There
That's where the soccer comment came from then earlier.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it makes sense now.
Yeah.
All right, so my last pick.
Remember the Titans.
This one's tough. I had this on my list as kind of like an honorable mention, but I do want to include it on my team.
Dang, so this pick sucks.
No.
It wasn't even going to be on your team.
This is actually great. This is a good pick.
Okay. This finalizes your team here. You
think
can't go back after this.
This might have one of the best casts
Okay, let's not be dramatic.
that we've chosen from so
Picking
far today.
Oppenheimer?
No. Is there sports in that?
There's horseback riding.
Exactly.
Everything.
This is kind of personal to me in a way because big sneaker fan over here. So I am going to go with Air. The story of Michael Jordan and
The new one, yeah.
how
For
his
some
shoes
reason-
came to.
For some reason, my mind went to holes because Zero steals the shoes. And my brain didn't have time to process that is not a sports movie in the slightest.
But those were cleats he stole.
Yeah.
From that one.
What's it? Sweet Feet.
Sweet Feet.
Yeah.
Sweet Feet. Yeah. But
Air.
we're
Air's
going with Air.
That's another recent choice. That movie came out last year.
Yeah, great cast.
Yeah.
From Artist Equity, the new company made by Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, their new initiative to like pay all the department heads a percentage of the movie, and so I support the message that all came along with that movie. Personally, I will dish your movie
fine.
and say that I thought it was boring.
I thought this was a personal choice for me. I liked how they basically like showed the process of how it all unfolded, and
How did you feel
it
about
came to
them?
be.
How did you feel about them not showing Michael Jordan?
I thought it was fine because the movie wasn't about him necessarily, right? It was more so about how the shoe itself came to be.
Yeah, so not about sports at all.
Well, it's all about sports actually, because as a Coach Carter fan, they rely on those shoes to play basketball. So, therefore, my choice might trump yours.
Okay, let's not
There would be no Coach Carter if they never invented the shoe.
carry it away.
If shoes were never invented, Coach Carter may not be so good.
Inventing shoes now.
There were shoes before Michael Jordan. Come on.
The greatest shoes.
Credit the Michael Jordan fans. Credit him with the shoes of shoes.
That's the name of the movie, Shoes. That's
It
it.
has a great cast, and Ben Affleck is a great director. I just felt like the movie was like slow. I thought it was going to be like The Social Network of shoes, and I just didn't feel the same.
Pacing.
Yeah, I guess just the same level of interest, which has to do with the pacing, keeping me. The script is really sharp in Social Network.
Yeah. I did enjoy the movie a lot more than Andrew did.
That's fine.
It was a good movie.
I'm a hater.
Yeah.
I thought just from my background and kind of how, with development of, certain things and shoes being one of them, right? And seeing that kind of build into what it was and what it became. And kind of how, he was the first player to even get like a cut of the sales of shoes and things like that. And
I love how they put the color on the shoes. They're like, we'll just pay the fine.
yeah, we'll pay.
So cool.
It's fine. Yeah.
Such a baller move.
Yeah.
I still wish,
Literally.
So
I still wish you would have picked holes.
honorable mention holes.
Okay. My last pick here.
When do I get my last pick?
Never.
After mine. Come on, bro.
God, why are you still in the middle? Make it make sense.
It's been going like this for what, 13 picks now?
It just started going like this.
Okay, my movie is also going to be about basketball. And instead of kind of talking about Michael Jordan, it's going to star.
Yep.
That's a
there it
funny
is.
pick. That's
There
a
it
good
is.
pick. Yeah.
And I'm going to pick Space Jam.
Yeah.
You're welcome for not picking it earlier.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I will say if I had to pick between Space Jam and Air, I would pick Space Jam.
Okay, thank God.
That's okay.
I was like, don't.
Which Space Jam are you picking?
The first one.
I know.
Michael Jordan. I sorry.
Let's be real though. If there was no air, there was no space.
That is right. Space Jam came out, what, 25 years before?
He wears what, Jordan 12s in that movie? Okay.
So didn't you wonder how he got on his feet?
Yeah, come on, man.
That's awesome.
Space Jam is really fun. I like the way that they combine live action and animation, similar to like a movie like the one with Bill Murray and
Oh, yeah.
Osmosis Jones.
Yes.
Yeah. So I feel like it's really fun the way they do that. The ending of that movie is super epic when he realizes that he himself can disobey the laws of physics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has that super long Michael Jordan dunk.
Yeah, it was very... This movie was on, like, all the time.
True stories.
I
Talks about his baseball career
yeah.
and how it wasn't great.
Yeah.
Bugs comes and gets them,
Saves the day.
That's it.
There's some fun basketball in that movie, though, too. I mean, the villains are exciting the way that they kind of upgrade throughout the movie and become more
Steal
intimidating.
all the skills from the other players. Yeah.
Whenever you see like 2D animation mixed in with live action, it's just fun.
Something
it's just
unique.
cool, you know?
The cast of characters are already characters that we love because Michael Jordan is a larger-than-life celebrity in real life. And then you've got Bugs, Lola, Tasmanian Devil, Daffy, Tweety. Like, you've got a cast of recognizable characters that we love from our childhood from cartoons. You don't really have to make the audience like them with the script. The audience already loves them.
Yeah. And it's also crazy to think, too, that he's like training for a season at the same time as this is going on. Like, have you seen, I'm sure you have, the Last Dance documentary?
Yeah.
Yeah, where they were talking about how he was filming that and they'd, do 13-hour day shoots, and they had to build him a full gym with like all your weightlifting equipment. But then, of course, you had the basketball court and everyone who's anyone in the NBA would fly in and they'd play basketball at night after a full day of shooting.
Do we know what year this movie was?
It's insane. Let me pull it up real quick.
Because what's kind of crazy is to think about like how they made that movie the way they did
96.
compared to like how they make movies now with animation and
Yeah. Came out in 96, which is Jordan's last year winning it all, I believe, right? No.
I don't know.
No, that's wrong.
I wasn't alive.
Gosh, this guy.
really dating yourself.
But yeah, Space Jam wraps up my team. Andrew, you finally have your last pick here. Where are you going?
Unfortunate spot of being the very last pick. So many of my favorites and best movies have been already taken. And
Air being one of them.
Air. I was going to pick Air first. I thought I could get away with it, honestly. I thought I could make it all the way to the end. I'm going to do something that we haven't picked a racing movie yet, have we?
No.
I'm going after Middle America right now. I'm going after them NASCAR fans, baby. I'm going to take for my final pick of the draft, Talladega Nights. I got the comedy team over here.
If you ain't first, you're last.
If you ain't first, you're last. I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence. I'm just a big hairy American winning machine. There's a cougar in the car. There's a goddamn cougar in the car. I don't know what to do with my hands.
That's the part I quote the most for sure.
I think,
especially like interviewing people, and they're like, I don't know what to.
I don't know what to do with my hands. I really like saying Ricky Bobby. Ricky Bobby. Oh my God, Sacha Baron Cohen's very funny in this movie. Crushes it with the comedy. Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly. This movie is absolutely insanely stacked. When his dad comes back at the end is so funny. Jane Lynch is in this movie as his mom. The kids are hilarious, knockout funny in this movie. The kids are so funny.
I threw Grandpa Chip's war medals off the bridge.
I'm gonna come at you like a spider monkey.
You think what?
Shut up, old man. I'm all hopped up on Mountain Dew. That's one of the best quotes of the whole movie. And I love when he's talking to him and he's like, what if I won one? What if I just won one? But if you win, how am I gonna win?
You're right. That ain't gonna work.
The shake and bake, it's iconic. It's that and Step Brothers are like the two best team ups for these guys. They make amazing movies. And I like kind of rounding up my team with a little bit of comedy. I mean, I started off my team super dramatic with Rocky and Warrior. And then, I followed up with Sandlot. I'm sorry, I skipped my middle comedy. Happy Gilmore, Sandlot, and now Talladega Nights to have like, I think a pretty balanced team. Different sports. You got racing, fighting, baseball, and now like some really good comedies in there. This is an all-timer comedy. This movie is so funny. And I just love to see the journey of the rise and fall of Ricky Bobby.
Okay.
Boom, and that wraps up our sports movie draft. So now the only thing left to do is to have the audience vote for the winner. So to kind of recap everything, Dave, why don't you go over who's on your team, who you picked, and then I'll go, and then Andrew will go. Just kind of list off your movies so everyone knows who you picked.
Yeah, beginner's luck here, so you should probably stick with my team.
Yep.
We took Miracle at number 1.
Boom.
Obvious choice. I think I went Cinderella Man number 2.
Yep.
Personal choice for me. We added in some fun with D2 Mighty Ducks.
Yep.
We went with another classic, Remember the Titans. And then we went with Andrew's favorite movie, Air.
Boom. There it is. That's Dave's team.
Boom, Air it is.
My team started off with Coach Carter, Andrew's #1 pick, by the way.
No, it was your number one. Your team. You're doing your
Surprise
team
pick,
right now.
though, to be honest, in my eyes, but
That's crazy.
it's a good choice.
Dave hates your team.
It's a very good choice.
He's like, I don't know who I am voting for, but I'm not voting for Aaron's team.
So Coach Carter, #1. #2, I picked the Iron Claw. And then 3, I had Creed 3. 3 and 3. You messed up by going Mighty Ducks.
No.
2 in 3rd.
Nah.
Yeah, like it should have been 2nd. Like it didn't. The numbers don't lie.
D2, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Coach Carter, Iron Claw, Creed 3, in 4, went with a classic Karate Kid, and then another classic comedy in Space Jam.
Okay, so this is Andrew's team, aka the winning team. #1, I got Rocky. In the 2nd spot, I got Warrior. 3rd spot, I got Happy Gilmore. In the 4th spot, Sandlot. And in the 5th spot, Talladega Nights, the Ballad of Ricky Bobby.
Boom. There it
Do you guys
is.
want to do some honorable mentions? Because there's so
I
many
would
good
like
ones
to,
I didn't
yeah.
get to say.
Yeah. What do you got, Dave?
Let's see. I have a whole list here, but there's good football movies out there that we didn't choose. Friday Night Lights.
We Are Marshall.
We Are Marshall. A little bit older, Varsity Blues.
What about Invincible? I haven't seen that.
Invincible's on my list. That one's really good.
haven't seen
another Philly movie.
I haven't seen Invictus either.
Me neither. No. And some racing movies too. I had on here. Rush.
Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
Gran Turismo.
You didn't like Gran Turismo?
Gran Turismo was pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Ford versus Ferrari.
Yep.
Yeah.
Aaron said Ford. Vroom, 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 vroom. Furiosa.
And I had one that I recently watched was
Cars?
Cars. Hey,
That
Racing?
that
Come
would've been a good.
Come on.
That would have been a good
Come on.
sneak. That would have been a good sneak pick. There's no real animated, 100% animated picks on here.
Yeah.
no. The Boys in the Boat, which I thought was
Boys.
pretty good.
It's a movie that came out this year. It's a rowing
It's
movie.
a rowing movie,
But it's
yeah.
like World War II era or something.
Yeah.
It's like a Great Depression era or
And
something.
the guy's like trying to make his way through college, and he doesn't have any money to do it, so he joins the rowing team and finds out that he's actually pretty good at it.
Yeah. I think it could be a cool movie. I always thought rowing looked cool in The Social Network, which I reference as many times as I can per episode.
What were their names? The twins?
The Winklevoss twins. the
the
Winklevi.
Winklevi.
Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss. Do I know these things because I know a lot about Facebook? No, because I've seen Social Network
There you go,
50
yeah.
times.
Oh, Any Given Sunday?
Yeah, so Pacino. Mm-hmm. That's a great speech. That's a great locker room
No, yeah.
speech. I have some others on my list too. Let's see, ones that haven't been mentioned yet. Southpaw. Oh my
Yep.
God,
That's on my list.
Took everything in me not to pick that at the 5 spot. I didn't want to pick a third fighting movie and be like super undiverse in my team. I just thought Rocky is like larger than life and big, so I had to stick with that. But I do love Southpaw. Challengers and King Richard, 2 tennis movies. I recently watched King Richard and liked it a lot. Unfortunately, The Slap marred that movie's reputation for all time. But Challengers is amazing. Just came out this year. Really well shot, but it's mostly about relationships to me and not as much about tennis. Dodgeball, another great
Oh, yeah.
comedy. I think that would have
That's
been
a true
sleeper
underdog
pick.
story.
Yeah. Nobody makes me bleed my own blood. That is a freaking classic comedy.
That's
Longest
the one where
Yard.
he's like, bold choice, Cotton. See how it pans out for him.
Yep. Yep.
That's the one where he's like, yeah, just reading the dictionary. Longest Yard, another great Adam Sandler sports comedy. That movie's very funny. I've watched that since I was a kid. And then She's the Man, a hilarious sports comedy with Amanda Bynes and Channing Tatum about soccer.
That's right. He plays soccer.
And then we've already mentioned some of these. $1 Million Baby is a great movie. Never Back Down is a great fighting movie.
$1 Million Baby won a ton of awards.
Oscars, yeah.
Yeah.
I won great awards, yeah. It was really good performance. It's not my personal favorite movie, but it has a lot of weight in terms of respected sports movies, but it's not my personal favorite. The ending is very upsetting. Then I put, just for classic status, Air Bud. Any of those movies would have been great. Game Plan, I love Game Plan.
Oh, yeah.
With Dwayne Johnson playing football. That movie
Football movie.
is very funny and heartwarming too.
Yeah.
And then this one I feel like would have been a great sleeper pick that not a lot of people consider because it's sci-fi, but Real Steel.
Yeah.
It's a fighting movie.
That's a good one.
Real Steel
Yeah, I
would have been
didn't
a really
have that
cool.
on my list
I
at
don't
all.
think it would have won me a lot of points. I think with a small audience, it would have won me like some respect for
Yeah.
like, digging that one out.
Yeah.
But it's such a good movie.
That's good scouting right
yeah.
there. And that's what sports is all about. You know,
That
this
movie,
picking your team.
the fights are so fun, and then at the end when he's like, "Not yet,
Yep.
not yet, now."
Yeah.
Bah, bah, bah.
Of course, you got Wolverine over there in the
Yeah.
corner. Like, man,
The kid in that movie's great.
doesn't get
as
much
well.
better than that.
Yeah.
Some
Anyone's
fighting
on there.
movies. Did you say The Fighter?
No, I was just
No.
gonna bring that up.
Yeah.
I
That
haven't
one's a good
seen
one.
it since it came out. I saw it in theaters, and so I don't recollect the movie very well.
Christian Bale, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Mark Wahlberg and Amy
Wahlberg.
Adams.
And Ali with Will Smith.
Haven't seen that either. Yeah.
And then you got the classics like High School Musical.
I thought for sure you were going to pick that. I said,
Really?
As soon as I made my list of 15, I said to Sierra, Aaron's going to pick Creed 3 and High School Musical. And you didn't pick High School Musical. I thought for sure you'd pick it as a basketball movie.
That's funny.
What about Little Giants?
Little Giants. Or Jump In.
What about Kicking and Screaming?
I don't know that one.
That's a I'm sorry, Will Ferrell.
Soccer movie.
Yeah, it's a Will Ferrell soccer movie. He's a coach of like a young kids team. He brings a ringer in. Like he brings some, I think, Italian or Spanish kid in who's really, really good at soccer. That movie's very funny. And then Benchwarmers, another comedy.
Benchwarmers, yep. Bad News Bears.
Semi-Pro. Bad News Bears is hilarious.
Semi-pro, yeah.
Semi-Pro is very funny.
Another
Here Comes the Boom. Have you guys
Here
seen
Comes the
that
Boom.
movie?
I saw
That's
that
a good
one.
one.
Another fighting movie. I don't think anyone mentioned Bleed for this.
Yeah, I saw that movie in theaters too. It's a good movie
Miles
with
Teller.
Miles Teller. It's a true story as well. I love the ending of that movie. She says, "What's the biggest lie that anyone's ever told you?" And he said that it's not that easy, because it is. Is just get up and do it. And the final knockout punch in that is great with the flashback to all of his efforts of trying to hit the bench, and he's got the halo on. That's a good movie.
When we were originally talking about this topic at the gym, we were bringing up movies that just kind of feature sports. So I think it'd be fun to kind of bring up some of those movies. It's not really about sports at all, but it has sports. One being Iron Man 2. Got some boxing in there.
Some boxing in it.
Yeah.
I got one.
Iron Man 2 also has Formula One racing. So that's like a 2-in-1 sports movie
Okay,
right
yeah.
there.
Failure to Launch, I think, has rock climbing, surfing,
Yeah.
biking. I think there's a baseball game in there too.
Yeah. What are some others? We were naming off
Drawing a blank
bunch
right
of
now.
them.
Yeah.
Surf's Up, that's surfing.
Yep. Point Break.
Yeah,
Point Break,
it's like
right there.
surfing and
Yeah.
Point Break, but not about surfing. That also has skydiving in it. The skydiving sequence in that movie is awesome.
You could probably throw in Wedding Crashers.
They play like a
Hey.
pickup game of
They
football
play
or something,
football
don't
in the
they?
Yeah,
backyard.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's so many like comedic opportunities for sports in movies.
Can I change my top 5?
They throw Wedding Crashers in
Wedding
there.
Crashers top 1.
I dig it. Man, this was fun.
There was a lot of
That
good
was
movies.
cool.
I'm glad we did such a long honorable mentions too, because there's so many like different favorites for people. Like who would have, there's probably someone out there like Air Bud,
You could also probably separate this into true stories, nonfiction
Oh, yeah.
versus fiction.
Absolutely.
Inside Out also is another movie that features sports.
That's it. Yeah. I think I brought that one up to you. She is an all-star hockey
Oh my
player.
gosh, it's amazing.
She's incredible. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah.
We talked about that on our Inside Out too.
Dark Knight
episode.
Rises and
What is
Justice-
Rises?
Justice
Rises
League.
is the football.
football game for the
Yeah.
Gotham Knights, and then the same thing in Justice League. They show a football game, college football game.
Boom. So many sports movies, guys.
Sports
It's crazy.
everywhere.
Sports are the thread of life.
So who would you guys vote for if you weren't going to pick? If you couldn't vote for yourself, who would you
Mine,
pick?
of course.
If you couldn't pick yourself, Aaron, you
Well,
listen to the instructions.
Pick Dave. I would never vote for yours.
Thanks, I'll take it.
Talking about.
Moving on, Dave. Whose would you pick?
I'm going solely based off of the comedy factors. I'm going Andrew.
Even though I didn't like Air,
Yeah.
Fine.
I'll pick you two.
Oh, okay. Let's go.
Yeah. Not because he likes your team, but because he doesn't want to pick mine.
Exactly.
But the more important question is, who is everyone watching think wins?
Yeah, make sure that you vote. Like we said in the beginning, you can vote across all platforms. So that will double, triple the value of your vote if you really care about, Happy Gilmore and Rocky being great movies like I do. You can vote for my team in the TikTok comments, and you can vote on a poll on Spotify, or you can vote in the YouTube comments as well. That would give me 3 votes and put my team in higher standing.
It's okay if I don't win. I'm just happy to be here.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
That's it. Yeah.
Nice. That's iconic right there. Good job. All right, thank you so much for watching. Again, make sure you put your vote down in the comments. We post new full episodes every Monday and Thursday. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. If you'd like to join in on the conversation even further, we have a Discord. The link is in the description of this video. I'm sorry, though, it is kind of expensive. So, Andrew, tell them how much it costs.
It's a whopping free.
So, Dave is actually going to join the Discord. That's what we do with new guests.
Nice.
We don't tell them that we have a Discord, and then we like bully them on air to join.
So you're pressured to download a new app on your phone.
Yeah,
I already have Discord on my phone.
yeah. So there you go. So now you're gonna have to subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, we're in.
I'll send you the link.
Yeah, make sure you join that Discord. You can give episode topic suggestions in there. We follow them pretty quick, and we have this community of people that love this stuff. So if you're watching the videos, you're one of those people. We have lately hundreds and hundreds of views. We don't have hundreds of people in the Discord. So if you are one of those people watching and you're enjoying the stuff we're talking about, come join that extra conversation. You might, meet some new people, and you can argue back and forth with them on these different topics.
Boom, there it is. Dave, thanks so much for joining us today. Hopefully we'll have you back for another episode.
Oh, yeah.
It was a lot of fun. And that's a wrap.